NFL fans, what is going on? We're back for another live episode of Jay Talks Ball, episode 4. I'm rocking the Mahomes wig today because some breaking news just came out. The GM of the Kansas City Chiefs expects Travis Kelce to be back next season, right? The news just broke. So we shall see. Nothing has come from him yet, but Brett Veach at the Combine says he expects Travis Kelce to come back and be motivated for the Chiefs to make a run next season and get some redemption for that blowout loss where he didn't really play well. Their whole team really didn't play well, right? How we left at the end of the season is that he was fired up. Veach said at the scouting combine in Indianapolis, I think we left it as he'd be back and we're excited to get him back and get him going. That's from Brett Veach, the general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs. So, what does this mean going forward? Yo, what is going on, Andrew? Welcome to the live stream, buddy. Yeah, some news just broke today. It looks like Travis Kelce will be back to run it one last time, you know? He'll be back one last time to run it back with the Kansas City Chiefs, right? So we shall see where this goes moving forward. But as far as we know, he will be back next season. It's very exciting news for Kansas City Chiefs fans. We'll have to see how that plays out. But he did look a lot older this year for sure. He didn't look, as spry as we've seen him in the past, right? So, I'm expecting him to come back motivated, for sure. I think it's very well that he could come back and play better than we've seen him in the last couple of years. I think Travis Kelce has way too much pride to just kind of bow out and just call it quits, right?
Just call it quit.
Yeah, I just don't think he's got that, man. Yeah, Andrew, I don't necessarily disagree with you about that, buddy. Because the Broncos and Chargers are both getting a lot better, right? And Pete Carroll is now the head coach of the Raiders. And like the mock drafts I've been kind of playing with lately, Shedeur Sanders falling to the Raiders at 6 is a definite possibility, right? Because we know at 5, the Jaguars aren't taking a quarterback because they have Trevor Lawrence and have paid him a lot of money, right, guys? So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to see Shedeur Sanders with the Raiders next year, right? Then you got Shedeur and the Raiders. You got the Broncos who are only getting better and better. And if the Cowboys don't pick Gentry at 12, the Broncos are in line probably to get Gentry at 20. If not, they might move up to ensure that they get him. So the tight ends are on the board too. Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, they would make the Chargers and the Broncos considerably better, right, guys? So that's kind of like where I'm at with the Chiefs next year. Yeah, I mean, the Packers, Andrew, definitely need a true number 1 X wide receiver, man. Christian Watson, he got hurt towards the end of the year. Their wide receivers have been banged up a lot this past year, right? So we'll have to see what the Packers do in the draft. I'm really curious. I think the Packers are one of these teams that could go anywhere, but I think offensive line is definitely in play. Protecting Jordan Love is number 1 priority for the Green Bay Packers moving forward. If we take a look at some of these rosters, like the Kansas City Chiefs, right? For them, I'm not sure if a guy like Colston Loveland's going to fall to them at 31. But Tooney is not a tackle, right? He needs to move back in the guard. And then with him, and then Smith is a free agent, right? So, and Jawan Taylor has been awful. Jawan Taylor has been terrible. He doesn't have one NFL season over a 63 grade. They need to upgrade both tackle positions, in my opinion. I think that that's what's holding the Chiefs back right now, guys. It's not Travis Kelce. It's these contracts, man. Jawan Taylor. They don't have a left tackle at all. They have some young guys on the roster, but can they make a leap forward? Well, that remains to be seen, right? They still have, let's see, Kingsley Sumataiya. They're listing him as a guard on PFF, but he was drafted as a tackle. Are they going to commit to Tooney being a left tackle? I don't know about that either. All right, so Jawan Taylor is under contract in 2025. They cannot cut him. He's under contract in 2026 as well. He doesn't become a free agent for 2 more years. The dead cap space drops a lot in 2026, so he would be a cut candidate. But man, they're paying him so much money to be completely mediocre. I don't know, man. 4-year, $80 million contract. They got hosed on that, in my opinion, guys. So the combine, Andrew, starts this weekend, right? So they have a schedule. I think it starts Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So different position groups work out each day. So one day it's wide receivers, you know what I mean? The next day it's offensive linemen, right? So here we go. So on Tuesday there's pre-exams, registration, orientation for everyone. On Wednesday, it's more of the same. And then on Thursday, we start the workouts, right? So on Monday, March 3rd, we got the bench press. Sunday, March 2nd, we got So we got the position groups are D-back, tight end, running back, quarterback, and wideouts, and then offensive linemen. That's how it's broken down. So on Thursday, team interviews start for the D-backs and tight ends. And then on Friday, the D-backs and tight ends get their measurements and on-field workouts. So the on-field workouts on Saturday are for the running backs, quarterbacks, and wideouts. And then on Sunday, March 2nd, measurements and on-field workouts for offensive linemen, right? So measurements and on-field workouts for place kickers, D linemen, and linebackers starts on Thursday. So that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, do the Packers have enough money to pay T. Higgins, man? I don't know. We'll have to check how much cap space the Packers have. Because T. Higgins is going to cost a lot of money. Probably around $30 million per year. And according to Over the Cap, they only have $49.1 million in estimated cap space. So for the Packers, it doesn't really seem like that is a logical landing spot for T. Higgins, Andrew, unfortunately, buddy. But it is what it is, right? He's going to go to one of these teams with a lot of cap space, like the Commanders, the Raiders, the Patriots. They have the most cap space. So that is huge, right? The cap space definitely matters, right? So New England, the Raiders, the Commanders, the Cardinals, Chargers, Bears, Vikings, Steelers. That's the top teams in cap space. Patriots, Raiders, Commanders, and Cardinals all have over $70 million in cap space. So the effective cap space is more of like where they're at. So 111, 85, 68, 67 for the top four teams. And then it goes under 50 million per team as we go forward, right? So, NFL fans, we're talking a little bit of ball today. Travis Kelce looks like he will be back for the Kansas City Chiefs next year, right? So, with the combine kicking off this week, the NFL is going to start heating up over the next few weeks, guys. Definitely going to start heating up. Mel Kiper Jr. just released his second mock draft of the NFL year. Abdul Carter goes number 1 from Penn State to the Titans. The Browns go Cam Ward at quarterback, number 2. I actually wouldn't be surprised if the Titans take Travis Hunter. They've been talking about him in the media a lot and thinking he can go both ways. So that'll be interesting. Number 3, he has Travis Hunter going to the Giants. That makes no sense to me at all whatsoever. I find it really hard to believe that the Giants pass up on Shedeur Sanders to bring in another receiver / cornerback with no offensive line and no quarterback. That makes no sense to me. Sure, he could play cornerback, but that doesn't make their team that much better. I don't know. The Giants do have a decent defensive line, but I'm not into that at all whatsoever. Will Campbell to the Patriots at number 4. That makes a lot of sense to me. I like that pick. Mason Graham to the Jaguars. I like that as well. And then he has the Raiders passing on Shedeur Sanders as well at number 6. I don't know, man. I think the Raiders are going to take Shedeur Sanders if he's available at number 6. I don't agree with Mel Kiper at all with that. Shedeur Sanders, number 7 to the Jets. Jalen Walker, the linebacker to Carolina. It seems like everybody's mocking him there, but with Ted McMillan available at number 8, I don't know. I don't know if I like that either. Tyler Warren to the Saints at 9. That makes sense to me. Josh Simmons. I do love Josh Simmons to the Bears. Josh Simmons, his tape, he's a dog. Will Johnson, guys, the cornerback from Michigan. Best cornerback in the draft. He's got great size, great ball skills, just an overall super talented guy. I like that pick for the 49ers. And then at number 12, Dallas Cowboys select Omarion Hampton. Like, what? I don't know. If Gentry's not there, they're not taking Omarion Hampton at 12. I think that's a dumbass pick as well. And then Armand Membu to the Dolphins. That makes a lot of sense to me. The Dolphins need to protect Tua Tagovailoa desperately, right? Desperately. They really, really, really need to protect Tua. And then Malachi Starks to the Colts. They need a general on that defense. Malachi could play the slot really, really well as well. He could play safety. He could play anywhere all over the board. But passing on Ted McMillan and Emeka Egbuka, I don't know if I like that. And Tyler Warren, yeah, he went to the Saints at 9. Mike Green to the Falcons. I like that for sure. Shamar Stewart to Arizona. He went Michael Williams. He's kind of an outside linebacker, DN hybrid. Yeah, he's going to have a big combine this week, I think. That's going to boost his draft stock. He makes a lot of sense for the Bengals on that horrible defense. Tyler Booker makes a lot of sense from Alabama. You know, he's a real big road grader type of offensive lineman. They need offensive line help. Jahad Campbell, the linebacker, going to Tampa Bay. I definitely see that happening as well, especially with some of their linebackers aging a little bit. And then Colston Loveland, the tight end, going to the Broncos. That makes a ton of sense to me. I think they could go Ted McMillan there too. How does he have he doesn't have Ted McMillan at all in his top 20. He makes no sense to me. Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver. Pickens is kind of a pain in the ass. That makes sense to me. Tet McMillan falling to 22. And then Emeka Egbuka over Tet McMillan. I don't agree with that. Tet McMillan's the best receiver in this draft. If Tet McMillan goes to the Chargers at 22, the Chiefs are going to have a really hard time next year. Ezra Thomas from Florida State. I don't know, man. I don't think he's the best pick at 23. I think that's a shit pick as well. I think there's way better corners there. Gray Zabel, he's like a guard slash center going to the Vikings. That makes some sense. Kelvin Banks to the Texans, 100%. They need some right tackle help for sure. Josh Connerly Jr., they need tackle help at the Rams. I like that pick. Nick Amon-Wari, he's like obsessed with this guy, the safety from South Carolina. I don't get that pick at all. Oluwafemi Oladejo, outside linebacker from UCLA, going to the Lions at 28. Maxwell Harrison, the cornerback. There's other cornerbacks I like in that spot more than him. Jody Barron is better than him. I don't understand that pick at all. And then Ursary, the offensive tackle from Minnesota, going to the Chiefs. And Walter Nolan falling to the Eagles at 32, guys. That makes a lot of sense to me, those last couple picks. But for the most part, guys, I don't necessarily love Mel Kiper's draft board. He gets kind of fixated on people and positions a lot, guys. So that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap it up today. I'm going to do about 20 minutes here on the live stream. Some breaking news. Travis Kelce is expected to return to the Kansas City Chiefs in 2025. Veach, the GM, talked at the Combine yesterday and said that they expect him to be back and motivated in 2025. That could be huge for the Kansas City Chiefs if they want to run it back in 2025, try to get back to another Super Bowl. It's going to be a lot tougher. I expect the Broncos and the Chargers to be a lot better, guys. Thank you so much for all you guys who tuned into this live stream. And if you're catching it after the live stream, make sure you leave me some comments, questions about Mel Kiper's draft in the comments below. Thank you so much. Peace.